Whether you're dreaming of a retirement with sand between your toes and a cold one in your hand, hitting the road to chase the winds of adventure, or spending time with your grandchildren, this show is intended to help you get there. Welcome to Coasting in Retirement with your host, Josh Knoll. You've worked too hard throughout your career to spend your retirement worrying. So sit back, kick up your feet, because we've got lots of financial tips and tricks to share to help you get exactly where you want to be. Here's Josh.
Hello, Lower Alabama. Hello, Gulf Coast. Welcome to Coasting in Retirement. Thanks for joining us today. Josh Knoll here, alongside co-host Michelle Lee Melton-Knoll, the whiskey in my teacup.
Nice.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You weren't expecting that.
No. I want some whiskey in a teacup right now.
I Googled Southern compliments, and that was one of the top ones.
I actually have a Reese Witherspoon book called Whiskey in a Teacup. It's a recipe book.
Very good.
Yeah, good book.
We are back in Coastal College's recording studio, beautiful downtown Fairhope, ready to put together another great show for those of you tuning in. Listeners, Michelle and I are here today to discuss financial topics relevant to those of you in or near retirement, living your best life along our part of the Gulf Coast. Here's what we've got in store for you. First segment, we're going to do a deep dive on our topic of the day. Second segment, roughly 30 minutes past the hour, that'll be headlines of the week. And then about 50-ish minutes past the hour, stick around for our third segment. We call it Josh's Crystal Ball and Big Mouth. And we're going to do a deep dive on AI in that one. All right. But everybody, buckle up. Stay tuned. We got a lot to get to. Quick background on me for those of you new to the show. Again, my name is Josh Knoll. I'm a fee-based financial advisor. I hold my FINRA Series 65 securities license, and I'm the owner of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. That is a 100% locally owned, 100% independent investment management financial planning firm. We have offices in Fairhope, Orange Beach, and Mobile, and technically a fourth one in Texas. You can find more information on me and the team at Gulf Coast Financial Advisors by visiting our website, gulfcoastfa.com, or feel free to give us a call, 251-327-2124. Now, if you just missed that contact info, grab some paper, grab a pen. We're going to repeat it several times throughout the show. All right, Michelle.
Yes.
Now, I got a couple little notes to make sure you don't let me forget.
Oh, do I need to jot these down
as
well?
Did. Nappies and Sean. I'll get back to it. All right. But let's get with our episode. Last episode, we discussed what I called the 401k rollover sharks. You remember that?
We had our own Shark Week.
We did. We used different shark comparisons to help investors understand the various quote-unquote advisors out there trying to take a bite out of their retirement accounts. We had the black tip 401k rollover shark.
Poor little guy.
Yeah, we had the bull shark.
Me.
We had the great white rollover shark.
Even more mean.
And then we had the dumb gulper.
Ha, you silly.
401k rollover shark. If y'all missed that and you want to take a listen, just go to our podcast tab on our website and you'll find it there. Now, I poked a lot of eyes in that episode, and honestly, the last couple episodes, I've been chip on my shoulder, and you told me to put my sharp stick down for this week.
Yeah, lighten up.
Pick a non-combative topic. So I went with what I consider it's a very hot topic.
Okay.
Right.
Caliente?
It's right in the retirement planning space.
All
anyway.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it.
Roth Conversions.
Woo, riveting.
It will be.
Okay.
Yeah. And fair warning, we're not going to do the shark thing again, but there's plenty of 401k rollover sharks that latch on to the Roth Conversions. Maybe they'll be like, what's the ones that stick their head on sharks? What are those called? Those fish?
You showed them to me. It makes my stomach hurt thinking about them.
Oh, there's listeners right now
they're
yelling
sucker fish, but they have like a three-prong mouth.
Let's not get hiccuped here, but we'll come back and have the proper
they're
name.
bad.
Right. So there's few topics in the retirement planning space that will stir up debate like a Roth conversion, because again, that's how nerdy we are. But that's true. Converting pre-tax retirement assets from a traditional IRA or an employer-sponsored plan into a Roth IRA can offer pretty incredible long-term tax advantages, but is definitely not without its risks. Mistakes in a Roth conversion can cost an investor thousands of dollars, and I've seen it. And as was with most things in my industry, there's the good, there's the bad, and then there's the ugly. As with Roth, and also with Roth conversions, Michelle, there's the super ugly, the downright fraud part of it that we're going to talk to. And we'll probably use the shark analogy in that segment too, just so people get it, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it. Keep it
All
a
right.
shark thing.
So let's start with the good. The most attractive feature of a Roth IRA is its tax-free growth and withdrawal. So you put them, just quick school thing, if you will here, a 401k or a pre-tax account like a traditional IRA, you put the money, you make a contribution, you get a tax break on the year that you made the contribution, And then whenever the money grows tax deferred, when you take it out in retirement, just don't do it before 59.5 or you get a 10% penalty. But when you take it out in retirement, you get taxed on the distribution amount, right?
Yes.
On a Roth IRA, there's no tax break when you make the contribution, but the money grows tax-free, and when you take it out in retirement, there's no additional taxes due, right? So it's pretty advantageous in that way. Once you make another thing that's good about a Roth conversion is once you get the money into the Roth, once you do the conversion and you satisfy what's called the 5-year rule, that is there's no distributions in the first 5 years, then any distributions taken after age 59.5 are completely tax-free. That means that every dollar of appreciation, interest, dividends, all that in the account is yours to keep. So for you for you all that are expecting a higher tax bracket in retirement, which is typically not the case but can happen, or those of you who anticipate rising tax rates in general, the Roth conversions allows you to pay the tax now in exchange for tax-free income later. And this can be especially powerful during retirement when you're managing your different tax brackets and trying to minimize your taxable income. All right, you found that fish, didn't you?
It's the common remora. It's
a remora. Yeah, so the Roth conversion goofballs that are the fraudsters, we're going to refer to them as remoras. We'll keep this.
Okay, that's good though.
Yeah.
Nasty.
All right, so back to our show. From an estate planning perspective, Roth IRAs are also highly efficient. Although the beneficiaries have to basically take all the money, they have to empty the inherited Roth IRA within 10 years.
Yes, Security Act, Secure Act, whatever.
Secure Act, yes, part of the Secure Act, yeah.
Okay.
They usually allow you to do things that are based on your lifespan, but they did some trade-offs there, and now they have a 10-year rule. But anyway, if you have that, you get to, even though you got to take it out in 10 years, you still are getting tax-free distributions. And especially that's really beneficial if you're in your working ages and maybe you're in a high-income bracket, so that's pretty handy. Passing on a Roth IRA rather than a traditional IRA can sometimes give your beneficiaries pretty substantial after-tax boost to their financial, okay?
Nice.
And then lastly, there's also sometimes a window for strategic use of Roth conversions when, let's say, for example, you get to retire somewhat young, and you're not ready for Social Security, or you're delaying it because you've got a financial plan that tells you what the optimal time would be to turn on Social Security. Well, during that time period, you're retired, not drawing your regular income anymore, but you're not drawing Social Security yet, and you're young enough that you don't have to worry about required minimum distributions. So that might be some of the lowest income bracket years that you have, right?
All right.
Yeah, the gap years, if you will.
Okay. Gap years.
Yeah, and then also sometimes if you've got a temporary income dip, like a job change, sold a business, maybe you're even on a sabbatical. Got sick. Yeah, true, right? You may find that a Roth conversion.
I need a sabbatical. Where do I sign up for that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't,
These professors with their sabbaticals.
It must be nice because I get antsy. I get anxiety if I'm out of touch for 24 hours. I can't imagine. You're better at that.
Yeah.
I have a.
I'm analog over here. I can roll like it's 1986. It's fine.
Very good. All right, let's get to the bad.
All right.
Despite all the advantages I just laid out to y'all, Roth conversions are not always a slam dunk, right?
They got some come and get me's.
Yeah, well, they do. One of the things
otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, if you obviously we've already talked about it, but you're going to have an immediate tax impact when you convert funds from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. The converted amount is treated as ordinary income in that tax year.
Okay.
Now we're going to circle back to this later in this segment, Michelle. If you're told that you could do a tax-free conversion,
lies.
It's
remoras.
It's fraud. All right, but we'll come back to that. So you're going to undoubtedly increase your taxable income, and if you're not careful with it, you could potentially get pushed into a higher marginal tax bracket. You could trigger all kinds of unintended consequences. For example, a large conversion could potentially phase out valuable tax deductions or credits. Increase taxes on Social Security benefits. It might even raise.
So it could phase out student loan interest stuff or what have you.
Yeah, if you're in
those deductions.
Correct. If you're in some type of agreement, and that's income based. Because remember, it's treated as ordinary income.
Yeah.
No, and don't let anybody tell you different. That's how it's treated.
Remoras.
It might even raise your future Medicare premiums. So there's some things to think about that. Another issue is strain on cash flow. If you do a Roth conversion, ideally you should be able to pay the taxes due from non-retirement based money.
Okay.
Right?
Non-retirement based money.
Yeah, you should have money put to the side to pay the taxes because if you're using money from the IRA conversion itself to pay the taxes, not only are you reducing the converted amount, you're actually paying taxes upon taxes. There's kind of a
hiss.
Right. There's kind of like a double mirror effect going on there.
Forget that.
And just remember, if you're under 59.5, there's going to be a 10% penalty on that. It's going to be, even if you're doing a conversion into another account, you got to pay attention to this stuff. Not everyone, a lot of people that want to do the Roth conversion don't necessarily have the tens of thousands of dollars laying around in an after-tax account. So you just want to make sure that you're not doing this where it dings up the account so badly that because you're having to take out the taxes out of there. Because remember, what you're banking on, yes, it's nice that, and I'm going to say this statement multiple times, Michelle, but it's nice that you don't have to worry about taxes in the future. But if you've done this Roth conversion and you've paid a relatively high marginal tax rate and you had to take additional money out to pay the taxes that were due, you're going to have pretty extensive growth in that account to get back to even to square
Where
one.
you were.
Right. And the statement that I always say, don't let the tax tail wag the economic dog. You'll need to remember
I love that movie.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that. But all right, it's also, Michelle mentioned it, she mentioned adjacent that Roth conversions can affect certain things that are income-based, like financial aid, healthcare eligibility. Just remember, it's going to increase your AGI, and that may, for those of y'all who are self-employed that have used the marketplace, you want to be careful with that. There's just a lot of things to take in consideration. Two more quick things on quote-unquote the bad part of Roth conversions. You want to make sure that you're correctly selecting the gross or the net amount. I know that seems like a simple thing, but I've seen people mess that up. Their accountant, hopefully they're using an accountant, but their accountant told them a certain number, and they misinterpreted that number as being the gross amount, and they didn't do the withholding, and the accountant meant the net amount, and now they owe more. And then lastly, there's the timing of risk. The success of a Roth conversion is really dependent on the performance of the market after the conversion is completed. I just went over that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to make up a lot of ground because you're probably going to lose 20, 30, 40% of that dollar that you converted. So if you convert those, and what's going to compound it is if you happen to have the bad timing of doing that Roth conversion,
and
the market is down, right? Because you'll have paid tax at a higher value, only see your portfolio shrink. So very good. Oh, last thing. This is somewhat newer. Prior to 2018, investors could reverse or what's called recharacterize their Roth conversions if the market declined, effectively getting a do-over. But that option is no longer
Took
available.
it away from us.
Yeah, once you do the conversion, it's permanent. It's done. So timing and market conditions play a critical role. Any questions before I get to the ugly part of this?
So many, but go ahead.
All right, so the ugly. Things get especially ugly when you hastily complete these conversions without proper planning. I've seen it.
Haste makes waste.
Yes, a poorly executed Roth conversion can create a cascade of tax headaches. For example, we're about to go to Nerdville, Michelle.
Uh-oh.
Converting too much in a single year could push you into the top federal tax bracket, potentially subjecting you to the 3.8% net investment income tax.
Is that pronounced neat?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, we're not accountants here.
Yeah, I hope it is because it reminds me of Monty Python.
It's neat, or I just call it neat.
We are the knights who say neat.
Yeah, basically it's going to increase the portion of your Social Security income that's taxable. It could also potentially trigger the alternative minimum tax, AMT, or again, as Michelle said, impact income-based student loan repayments. Just remember, the concept is relatively simple, but it can have tax consequences that ripple throughout your entire financial life. Another ugly scenario, and this one I pin. It's called doing a Roth conversion because for emotional reasons, but there's just a lot of really talented one-trick pony Roth conversion shops out there.
Okay.
Now, some of them have a really good reputation, and they have a really good system. They do a really good job of marketing themselves. I'm looking at you, Craig Ware. He's definitely a big
shout
name.
out.
Right. But a lot of them are just, they're just, it's easier in my line of work, Michelle, to be a really, really good one-trick pony on selling something than to be a broad generalist.
Right.
I mean that's true with life. I don't know. It's kind of the opposite of doctors. Doctors kind of narrow down the scope.
Yeah.
Financial advisors need to wear multiple hats.
Okay.
And the ones that don't usually are trying to sell you on one thing.
That might not be the best fit for you.
Correct. And that's definitely, Roth conversions falls under that tent for sure. And then also for y'all that are older, you may not, if you're already getting RMDs, required minimum distributions, out of your retirement accounts, the math may not work in your favor because you may not live long enough to make up the tax that you paid. The time you don't have the time horizon to recoup what you spend on it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now we get to the remora part.
You guys look this thing up. It is so gross.
Our Gulf Coast listeners know
nasty.
what that is. Yeah. And so I was going to compare them to I didn't know oceanic white-tip sharks, according to Google, will target survivors of shipwrecks and
That's just mean.
That's just mean. That's just cruel. That's just that's insult to
They're
injury.
Jerks.
Right.
Big jerks.
But we're going to put them to the side.
They also get fairly large.
Right.
I looked it up, 12 feet.
Whew,
and they have, their pec fins are like paddles, like a paddle fish.
Right.
It's very strange looking.
Well, the point being is these are the remoras of the Roth conversion. Let's start with abusive tax schemes. Some Roth conversion promoters suggest using a Roth IRA to shelter business income by selling business assets to the Roth at undervalued prices. Unfortunately, for those that do this, the IRS considers these listed transactions. And, it's not a problem until it's a problem to get caught.
Sure.
But if you get caught, it's massive
It's a bad
penalties.
problem.
Yes,
Okay.
and potentially legal problems.
Ruh-roh.
All right. Then there's what we referred to on the last episode as a great white 401k rollover shark. That's the old self-directed IRA scam.
Okay.
Scammers often push victims to move retirement funds into a self-directed IRA to convert them into non-traditional assets such as crypto, private real estate, precious metals.
We learned about those last week.
Yeah,
the metal industry.
The great white 401k roller sharks. And the problem with those guys is there's a sheen of viability to them. They advertise a lot. I don't know how they get away with it, but they do. If I were to say the things that they said in their advertisements, I'd lose my license in a heartbeat, but they get away with it. Probably because most of them are not securities licensed.
I was going to say, how does that happen then?
Well, because it's funny.
That?
If you're not securities licensed, you actually can kind of get away with
the wild,
more.
Wild West.
Again, it's that Point Clear guy. I mean, he was saying some pretty,
loosey-goosey
you and I have
things.
heard the promises that were being made.
Yeah.
And I'm starting thinking, I feel bad for the people that did it, but there's no way a licensed well, let me rephrase that. A reputable licensed securities advisor would not take the chance of making these kinds of claims.
Or somebody that has fiduciary duty of your stuff.
100%, which we're going to talk more about.
Okay.
All right, then lastly, on the remoras, it's the free lunch seminar, used car salesman guy.
Remoras are getting free lunches all the time.
Right. It's, some advisors will use high-pressure seminars. They'll try to scare you about future tax rates. And they'll push you into. It's kind of. Gosh, I'm bringing my
somebody.
No, I'm getting my stick out. I got to, but they have somewhat in common with the fixed index annuity.
Okay.
Big, dinner seminar guys, and they're really going to try to put a significant amount of your money into this one program because when they do, usually speaking, they're using some type of insurance product to generate a commission. So there's a lot of bleed over there.
Illustrations at this dinner party thing.
Yes. And here's the thing, man.
Should we go? We actually just got an invite to one of these.
Yeah, should we go?
Josh and I did. I'm thinking about going for research purposes.
Well, you could.
And we get a free meal. I could.
Yeah, they say no advisors or agents.
Oh, I could go. I could just totally.
And do you know why they say that?
Because you're going to ask pointed questions.
Yeah, because they don't want to be the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
Right. Yep. All right. So let's hold on. I got a couple more things.
All right. Your stick is out still?
The stick is. I'll put the stick away.
Okay.
But I wanted to. There's a couple things in our research I want to make sure we talked on. One, and savvy listeners have already been talking to the radio while we're doing this, but there are some certain lower tax brackets that are going to expire soon that were originally part of the the Jobs Act. Good grief.
Jobs and
the Tax Cut and Jobs Act.
Yes.
Yeah. There is absolutely, if we came off as hypercritical of Roth conversions, we're not. We do them quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there is actually a little bit of a ticking clock right now. There's a window of opportunity.
Okay.
If for those of y'all that are wanting to have that conversation. Another good thing is for those of y'all that are making a certain level of income that have wanted to do a Roth IRA and were told you couldn't because you had made too much money, on the Roth conversion, that doesn't apply, right?
Okay.
Anyone can do a Roth conversion. It doesn't have an income limit around their income, okay?
All right.
There is a thing that came with, I think, the recent bill that just came through. It's called the Super Catch-Up on contributions. So for those of you all in the age 60 to 63, you now get an additional bucket of money to put into your retirement plans. I think it's $11,250 for a 401k. It differs by plan. A couple other things, Michelle, as we're wrapping up this. The bad, let's look at this 5-year clock. Make sure if you do a Roth conversion, do not take a distribution within the first 5 years. I've seen that mistake made. And then we're back to the ugly side of it. If someone, this is really important, listeners, if someone claims that they can do a Roth conversion, they can help you do the Roth conversion for zero out-of-pocket tax costs, and especially if they are trying to use an insurance product to do that, do not do this. They are most likely using some kind of high commission deck thing to hide a massive tax bill. Also, just be very, very careful when you're trying to do illiquid private business placements in there at a discount. We talked about a little bit of that earlier. And then also, there's sometimes these remorers will tell you that you can buy a deferred annuity inside an IRA because the surrender charge will lower the account value for taxes. That is illegal. The IRS is only that allows a discount if you actually surrender the policy, right? You can't discount it unless you put it into play. So, all right, so back and wrapping this up. Roth conversions can be very valuable. They're not appropriate for everybody. And like most things in financial planning, the best approach tailors itself to your goals, your income, your tax bracket, and your long-term financial outlook, okay?
Okay.
The best results, usually we will do a series of partial conversions. It's going to be very thoughtfully lined out, looking at tax brackets, working with your CPA. If you don't have a CPA that does tax planning, we have great resources in-house, and we work together on this so that we coordinate this with your timeline, your Social Security claiming strategies, charitable giving, all of it. Okay. Very good. What do you think?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. It started out as a good idea, and it still is a good idea. But it's gotten just ran. I mean,
it got soured.
It's got taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like everything else in our business, it's just
everything in moderation, people, including moderation.
Including moderation. That's right. All right. Well, listeners, if you want to set up a follow-up conversation with the team at Gulf Coast Financial Advisors, it's very easy. Give us a call, 251-327-2124, or you can find us on the website. That's gulfcoastfa.com. So FA is in financialadvisor.com. On the site, there is a blue button in the upper right-hand corner that will put something on my calendar. There's 3 different ways to talk to us. You can do simple 15-minute introductory phone call. You can do a 30-minute Zoom, or our preference, let's meet in person. We have 3 office locations. We're in downtown Fairhope. We have an office in Orange Beach, just down the road from the wharf. And then we have a 3rd office in Mobile near the intersection of Dolphin Street and I-65. Reach out to us. There's no cost. There's no obligation. We're just going to sit down. We're going to talk, okay? All right, folks, coming up next, what's going on in the world, particularly the world of finance, investments, and money. That's right. Every week we scour the internet for financial articles relevant to those of you in or near retirement. Then we're going to give you our honest opinion about these headlines. So join us after the break to hear Michelle and I discuss this week's relevant headlines in our News of the Week segment. Stay tuned.
A multidimensional financial services company, Providence Partners serves the needs of independent insurance, financial, and employee benefit professionals. The team at Providence Partners serves other business professionals like property and casualty agencies, registered investment advisors, community banks, and benefit brokers to assist in their clients' risk management planning. Whether an individual or business owner client, this planning includes income replacement protection, planning for extended healthcare costs, family needs, and generational transfers of wealth. At Providence Partners, we give you access to industry specialists. Those specialists focus on business succession, business owner planning, family and household protection, estate planning, planning for that income loss, or planning for long-term care solutions. Providence Partners is an Alabama-based company. We have offices in Birmingham and along the Gulf Coast. Our website is providencepartners.org, and you can reach us any of the working days.
Welcome back to Coasting Retirement. Your host, Josh Knoll, here alongside co-host Michelle Lee Nelson-Knoll. So as we discussed before the break, every week we scour the internet for financial articles that pertain to those of you in or near retirement. Our job, or at least we tell ourselves it is to help you all understand how these headlines impact you, especially when it comes to your money. Now, quick note, if you want to read our referenced articles yourself, we include the links in our show transcript. Just look on our website, gulfcoastfa.com, go to the podcast tab, and find the episode that you want to listen to and read the referenced articles there. All that said, without further ado, here's Michelle with the news of the week. Headlines of the week.
Headlines. Okay, first up, Josh, a recent warning about Roth IRA eligibility from The Street. It's called The Street. I like to say that, though. It's titled, Fidelity Flags the Income Trap Blocking Your Roth IRA. The article discusses how easy it is for high earners to accidentally trigger a 6% IRS excise tax, boo, by contributing to a Roth when their income is above the legal threshold. Yikes. Mm-hmm. Fidelity calls it an income trap because many people don't realize they've exceeded the limits until they go file their taxes. Surprise! At which point the penalty is already compounding. As the article highlights, the fix isn't as simple as just taking the money out. You often have to calculate the net income attributable, basically the earnings on that specific contribution, and remove that as well, or go through a formal recharacterization process. Sounds painful. If you wait until the April tax deadline to figure this out, you're already behind the 8 ball. So what type of planning can investors do to avoid this tragic mistake?
Well, the number one thing you can do is not do quote-unquote tax planning at the very last minute.
Sure.
I mean, that's tax preparation / tax desperation, right?
Truth.
Yeah, tax planning is not just once a year. It's a year-round type of event. Conversation for sure. Now, everyone has heard of MAGA at this point, right?
Yes,
yeah.
We're familiar.
But they forget about Maggie. Well, I don't know how you say it, but it's modified adjusted gross income. So the point of it is, if you have a banner year in your business or a big bonus or maybe a significant capital gain from selling a property, you might suddenly find yourself ineligible to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. The trap is, that Michelle mentioned, there's a 6% penalty. It isn't just a one-time fine.
Dang, dude.
It hits you every single year that the excess contribution remains in the account.
IRS is mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, they that's the trade-off. So I'm going to go on a tangent.
Okay.
These are qualified
Sidebar.
qualified accounts. Qualified accounts in general are accounts where the IRS gives you some types of tax preferential treatment in exchange for rules, right? Can't touch the money without penalty for a certain amount of time, can only put so much in. And what they really don't want you doing is, whether you do it intentionally or unintentionally, they don't want you making mistakes with the amount that you're putting in there. And what they do is they try to make the penalties pretty rough so that if you do make that mistake, you ain't never going to do it again. That's right.
Stinged for
life.
life.
And it's why the set it and forget it when it comes to Roth IRA contributions.
Not the best.
Especially for you high income earners. So in 2026, with the income thresholds being what they are, you really need to be checking your projected income in October or November.
All right.
We do that with...
That's when tax preparations should start.
Well, again, year-round. But it's definitely, you want to be having these conversations. And we've talked about this in the past, but for those of y'all listeners that are somewhat newer to the show, we are at Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. We're a financial planning first firm. And what we do is we work with CPAs, estate planning attorneys, risk management, companies like J Stubbs or Providence Partners. We work with investment management. We're basically kind of the point guard of this entire financial team. And one of the main really key components of that, especially for you all that have businesses or multiple interests or high income or whatever it may be, is to make sure that we are having continual conversations with your CPA and your accountant around how to keep as much of your hard-earned dollars in your pocket, and in the case of this example, not making the mistakes that cost you, where you basically just light money on fire, which is nothing more aggravating, right? If you're close to that line, sometimes it's better just to wait. We also can have a conversation about a backdoor Roth, which is a kissing cousin to a Roth conversion. We don't have enough time to talk about that. We've talked about it in the past. Main thing is just you want to be proactive so that you don't end up paying, quote unquote, a success tax to the IRS for the privilege.
So mean.
Right. Hey. But, you can just do non-qualified accounts.
How do you spell success? Tax.
Tax.
T-A-X.
That's good. Yeah, speaking of fish, the tax man. All right.
Okay, yeah.
What's next?
All right. Speaking of taxes, recently passed legislation has made quite a few changes to our tax law, including items that directly affect those of you in or near retirement. Fidelity has a good article highlighting some of these changes titled 10 Tax Tips for 2026. It's a comprehensive list, but a few things really stand out for our audience. First, They remind us that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act we mentioned earlier is officially in the sunset phase, meaning the lower brackets we've enjoyed are on the clock. They also highlight the new super catch-up contributions for those aged 60 to 63 and the fact that qualified charitable distributions, QCDs, remain a massive win for those over 70 and a half, especially for those already in retirement that want to support your favorite local causes here on the Gulf Coast without that money ever touching your 1040 as taxable income. So, Josh, with the tax cliff looming at the end of this year, how should our listeners be prioritizing these different tips?
Well, so there's a ton of articles talking about all of the different tax changes, and it can be a little overwhelming. So we try
This article was a little overwhelming.
Yeah, well, but compared to the other options, we try to pick our articles with some due diligence in that, one, we try to we can never 100% verify the complete and total accuracy of any article, but we're going to pick them from trusted sources, right?
Sure.
Two, we're going to pick them where they don't have a paywall, where you don't have to subscribe to read them, right? And three, we're going to try to pick, you could pick ones that are 40, they're basically mini books if you want, but we try to give stuff where if you got 5 minutes to read the article, you're going to come away smarter.
That's my time frame.
There you go.
I got gnat brain.
Yeah, this particular article, it gives a basic checklist. Any of you all that are in retirement, not hitting a tax wall, and also stresses having a qualified tax professional on your financial planning team. Michelle mentioned it. I talked about it earlier. There's a super catch-up for qualified plan, retirement plan contributions. And this is where it gets a little confusing, Michelle. So you have your normal contribution until you're age 49, your limit, right?
Ooh,
so in your 403b, you can contribute so much right now up to age 49. When you hit 50, you get an extra amount you can contribute.
I can catch up. It's like $1,100 or something.
Well, it's a little higher than that. Yeah. Then what they've added is from 50 to 59, you've got that standard catch-up. Then from 60 to 63...
Super catch-up.
Super catch-up. What happens when you turn 64?
I don't know.
You go back to the 50 to 59 catch-up. Okay. So it gets a little confusing.
It does get a little confusing.
Right, but we can help people with that.
All right.
Let's see what else. Yep. There is, again, don't let anybody ever rush you. Those of y'all, it's your money and it's your time horizon and your timetable on how you deal with these things. But there are some things that are getting sunsetted that you probably want to have a conversation with your financial advisor and CPA. If you don't have either one of those, give us a call. Because, if you wait until next year to worry about your tax bracket, you probably already missed the boat. You want to use the rules now to protect your future tax planning goals and everything. And I think this article, again, it does a good job. Yes, it is, because the tax changes this year were significant. I mean, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown, Michelle, and then we'll move on to the next article. Capital gains and dividends had some changes. There was changes all across the board on long-term capital gains rates, right, on the brackets.
Child tax credits.
There's special tax considerations for older retirement savers. There's new itemized deductions. There's new rules on inherited IRAs, estate tax planning changes. I mean, there's a lot.
Yes.
Right? So there's nothing wrong, especially if you got a relatively simple W-2 situation, no deductions, no itemized deductions, no Schedule C, no K-1s, all that. Fine, if you want to do your own taxes. But for those of y'all that have a more complicated situation, or you're moving into retirement with significant qualified assets and a lot of moving parts, even if you don't have as many business interests as you used to do, but you've got money all over the place, it's really important with all of these tax changes, because the tax code has become such a political animal, and it's become monstrous, thousands upon thousands of pages. It's really good to form a team, have a tax professional, have a financial advisor. We're happy to help you with that. All right. That's
okay,
good.
So our final article of the day. For our listeners that have a Roth option with their employer's 401k plan, Smart Asset just released an article titled How Roth 401k Matching Works with Your Employer. The piece explains a relatively recent major shift in how companies can handle their Roth 401k match. For decades, the matching rule was set in stone. The employer's contribution could go into a Roth if that was available, but the boss's match was always traditional pre-tax. Now, thanks to the Secure Act 2.0, employers can finally offer to put a post-tax match directly into your Roth account. The article also points out that many 401k plans don't offer a Roth option. Employers can offer it, but they don't have to.
Right.
So even if you want to pay the tax now to get that tax-free growth, you have to check with your HR department to see if they've actually updated their plan documents to allow it. But take note, while this changes the math on, quote, free money from an employer match, it comes with a tax tag attached if you choose the Roth route. So what should investors consider when deciding how their 401k contributions will be made?
Well, I don't want to go into total nerdville yet again here, Michelle, but I will say that I think it's great if someone has a plan with a Roth 401k option in some certain part, because you just don't have as many. You still have restrictions, but not as limited restrictions as you would with a Roth IRA, an individual retirement account.
Okay.
Even though they both got Roth in the name,
right.
One's a 401k, one's an IRA. But with any of them, the catch is the IRS is never going to let you off the hook for 100% free, right?
Dang.
If your employer puts the match into a Roth account, that money, if they do it as a post-tax match, that money is going to be treated as taxable income to you in the year that is contributed. So it's essential, if you're it's getting like a small bonus that maybe you don't see in your paycheck because it goes straight in your retirement account, but yet you still have to pay income
taxes
tax
on it, though.
So that's a crucial part of it, especially if you're a high income earner, and you're already pushing into those top tax brackets. Adding that employer match to your taxable income might push it even higher. Again, these are conversations to have. For you young professionals, or maybe some of y'all that are believe taxes are going up in the future, which they could, maybe, who knows, paying that tax today to ensure that every penny after that of that match and its growth is tax-free in the future. That might be a thing for you, a win for you. But the main thing is just don't check the Roth 401k box simply because it sounds good. Check it because you've done the math on your current bracket versus your future one, and we can help with all that. Also, for those of you all that are looking to implement a retirement plan at your business, give us a call. We do that at Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. We do 401k plans. We do simple IRAs, SEP for you smaller businesses. And for those of y'all that already have a 401k plan, we can benchmark that plan to make sure that you're not paying too much in fees. And I can almost guarantee you that if you haven't benchmarked your plan in the last 3 years, 5 years max, you are undoubtedly paying too much in fees.
Ooh. Because
there's been a super competitive environment that has led to fee compression in the 401k space over the last handful of years. And also, too, we can look at, is adding a Roth 401k option a good fit? Again, both those things we can do. You can set up that follow-up conversation with us at Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. Give us a call, 251-327-2124, or find us on the website. That's gulfcoastfa.com. FA is a financial advisor. Again, one more time, on that site, the upper right-hand corner, there's a blue button that will put something on my calendar. We can do a 15-minute introductory phone call. We do a 30-minute Zoom, or our preference, let's meet in person in any of our 3 office locations. That's downtown Fairhope. We're in the Portico development off Fairhope Avenue. We're also have an office in Orange Beach. We're just down the road from the wharf and Cypress Village, for those y'all familiar with the area. And then we're also in Mobile near the intersection of Dolphin Street and I-65. But however you reach out to us, make sure you do it. We'd love to meet with you. All right, folks, coming up next, Josh's crystal ball and big mouth. What have been some of my predictions? Have I been right? Was I ever wrong? How wrong? What we
find out.
Normally we talk about what's going to affect investors in their future, or maybe the distant future. We are going to talk about that, but we're going to be talking about what's going to affect guys like me in the near and distant future. Plus, we get to poke a little fun at my big mouth. Stay tuned. Whether it's building a business from scratch with your own 2 hands and wanting to maximize the financial impact of those sacrifices, or growing a great nest egg by being a dedicated and reliable worker for years, or choosing to live a life well within your means in order to accomplish a lifelong dream of retirement, the last thing you want is to go with the wrong financial advice after you've worked so hard to accumulate your assets. You've also probably spent most of your life putting others' needs ahead of your own, and now it's your turn. We can help. Gulf Coast Financial Advisors is a locally owned, independent, fee-based financial planning, investment management, and tax planning practice. We have offices in Fairhope and Orange Beach. We serve all of Baldwin County and the Gulf Coast. We also have an easy-to-understand fee-for-service model with no sales quotas, no proprietary products. Our ultimate responsibility is to our clients' goals and dreams. You can reach us at 251-327-2124 or find us online at gulfcoastfa.com. That's GULF, like the Gulf of Mexico, Coast, FA as in financialadvisor.com. Welcome back. Your host, Josh Null here, joined by co-host Michelle Lee Melton-Null. So I am opinionated. I have strong opinions at times, maybe all the time. I'd say a radio show host that isn't opinionated would probably be not very interesting to listen to. Also, I'm paid in my profession to offer professional guidance and opinions to my clients. So if I don't have anything intelligent to say, just replace me with AI. Also, I like making predictions. Sometimes I hit the bullseye. Sometimes I swing and miss. So let's see if I got any crow to eat. Let's get at with Josh's crystal ball and big mouth. Michelle,
yes,
I got to jump in before you do your part. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have two official announcements. Right. All right. First,
ding, 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 ding. Okay.
First is a fun one. I just want to. I know he's listening. I want to give a thank you to Sean Sullivan of FM Talk 106.5 for having me on as a guest on Midday Mobile.
Yes.
It was awesome. I was very flattered. I think I hit the mark pretty decent.
I haven't heard it.
Well, you got to listen because they put it out there as his own segment.
Okay.
Right? He had a little bit of connection issues on his side,
yes,
but I was able to power through.
Abroad.
And I have, for those of y'all that have ever done any type of announcing or speaking on a podcast or radio show, I had the worst thing that can happen. I could hear my own voice coming back at me.
But nothing else.
Which usually makes you talk like you're drunk. It makes you slur.
Oh, does it?
Yes. So if you ever listen to a broadcast and the guy talking is sounding like he's slurring his words, he's probably getting his own audio fed back too quickly into his headphones. Little tidbit from doing this for so many years.
So you sounded like you were having a stroke.
No, I was able to divide my brain in half.
Okay, dichotomy. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I've done this before, so I knew what to do. But man, it was. But Sean, if he has me back on,
let's hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, Sean. Would love to come back on. Second thing is we got a kind of a fun announcement. We are up for not one but two Nappy Awards. That's right. So first, Coasting Retirement is one of 5 finalists for
Yes, they're all five.
They're all 5, right?
Yeah, category. There's 5 in each category that are finalists.
Okay, so Nappy Awards, local weekly magazine called Lanyap, which means
weekly rag, which means a little something extra.
A little something extra. We're Coasting Retirement with Josh Knoll is up for the best
radio show,
best
lifestyle radio show.
And last year, we've lost to Bill Finch a couple years now.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bill and the Birds.
I've heard Bill's a very nice guy, but
we also the food people though too.
Yeah, we lost the food people,
and they're slow and
we're tired of being the bridesmaid people.
Yes.
Help us out. And then second, for the first time,
vote for us. So let's replug it again for best lifetime lifestyle radio show.
That's right. And this is our third year being nominated?
Yes, I think so.
And then for the first time, Gulf Coast Financial Advisors got nominated for best financial planner.
Yes, group.
The category is a little goofy. It's best investment banker / financial planner, which I can tell you all is 2 completely different
jobs. It totally
jobs.
is 2 completely different things, which is weird. If we win, and we should, so help us out, we can help them, do some dichotomy of that and separate them.
Yeah, separate like I did my brain when I was
listeners, it is not easy to navigate this website, so we really appreciate it. But you can go to, is it Lanyap? Not Lanyap?
Yeah, lanyap.com, I believe.
But you can Google nappies, make sure you choose 2026.
And voting will start sometime in May. So
in May, we'll keep you posted.
We'll keep you posted.
But we're up for 2, so let's do it. Let's get on that singer stage.
For sure. We'd love it. All right. What we got, Michelle?
So, all right, Josh, we've spent the show talking about technical shifts in tax law and employer matches, but there's a much larger tectonic shift happening in the background of the financial services industry involving artificial intelligence, better known as AI. I've been looking at 2 very different perspectives on the future of financial advice. One report from Advisor Hub suggests that industry executives are starting to say the quiet part out loud, that AI isn't just a tool for efficiency, but is increasingly being positioned to replace many of the functions human advisors perform today. However, a recent CNBC piece featuring an MIT professor argues that AI has a big problem, and that's because it lacks the ability to handle the human complexity of financial life. The parts that require empathy, ethics, and understanding client-specific emotional goals. And more importantly, there is no way to hold AI to a fiduciary standard like a human advisor can be held to. So, do you think we're heading toward a world where a computer replaces the person across the desk, or is the human element still the ultimate protection for a retiree's plan?
Well, this is going to be fun, Michelle. So first, I'm going to give you my response, right?
All right.
Then I'm going to give you the response that I got from AI bot Gemini, which is Google's AI bot, when I asked them the question directly, because I use Gemini for some research, and I was trying to get a little consensus around, hey, what do people think about AI versus financial advisors, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, well, I'm just going to ask
Let's go into the source.
I'm going to go right straight to the source.
Okay.
All right, so for me, human response here, I've been saying now, and you've been witness to this last couple of years, AI was going to be, this is one of the things where we really stuck the mark on this show. We told everybody way back in the beginning, AI is going to have a huge impact on everything. Ignore crypto, pay attention to AI. We could not have been more right on that, right?
Yeah.
I believe that AI is absolutely going to replace the order takers in this business. Brokers that just push products or basic asset allocation. If an advisor's value proposition is just rebalancing the portfolio or giving you a 60-40, hold it and forget it type of portfolio, in 2026 and beyond, any AI algorithm can do that faster, cheaper, better. If your person is just there trying to pick the next best stock, AI is going to wipe them clean. Right?
All right.
It's over. It's been over.
Right.
It's AI. I've said this before. AI is the asteroid heading for our industry, and unless you're the predecessor of birds, avian, you're in big trouble. Right.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, computers are always going to have a basic shortfall because they can't, at least right now.
Right, though.
Yeah, they can't look someone in the eye and tell them that it's okay to spend money on certain things. That me as an advisor, I've got real world experience with that situation, or I've helped clients already through it. AI is not going to have that, not in a genuine way. It also is not going to be able to navigate the family dynamics of estate planning, or maybe talking to a client off the ledge during a market correction. It seems to be really good at talking people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like good talking them to jump off the ledge.
No, and it has done that to some college kids when they ask them weird questions. But
right.
It's weird.
Yeah, it hallucinates.
Yeah.
And it does. It's got a hallucination problem. It can confidently give you the wrong tax advice.
Yeah.
And financial advice.
Or otherwise, legal and otherwise,
yeah,
too.
I mean, it can
medical.
be, we use it for some research, and we still have to double check it.
Sure,
So,
you have to vet it.
yeah, and that's a good point, Michelle. We have given a lot of tax commentary during this episode, so it behooves us to let everybody know we are not tax professionals. So
No.
take anything that was said in this episode.
Go speak to one of them.
Yeah, definitely speak to a tax professional. We do as much due diligence on our research as we can, but again, we are not tax professionals like a Sam Driver, CPA, licensed CPA out of Foley. All right, so that's my prediction is, Michelle, it's not going to be advisors necessarily versus AI. It's going to be advisors that know how to use AI versus advisors that don't.
Well, AI is supposed to complement humans in our actions, not replace.
And remember, we don't have to agree to any of it in America. Listen to me.
Truth.
We don't have to just sit back like our hands are tied behind our back and say, okay, fine, go ahead and just stab me in the neck with this stuff. We can fight back if it doesn't make sense, right?
Yes.
Everybody's concerned about losing the AI war with China. China's not going to put 2 billion people out of work either.
No, but
you know what
there
I mean?
are some people getting put out of work.
I understand that, but they understand you can't put that many people out of work. There has to be, otherwise you would have
a lot of people got
Armageddon.
razzed at Coachella that were CEOs of companies that were laying off 20,000 people because of AI.
All right, so let me get you. I had a long conversation with Gemini.
Oh, here we go.
So Gemini, here's what it says.
Your new best friend.
Yeah, Gemini says, as an AI, I have a front row seat to this evolution.
Weird.
Right. You're right.
I'm already creeped out.
It was kind of creepy. He says AI is already. I'm calling him a he. My Gemini guy. He says AI is already winning when it comes to the mechanical parts of financial planning. If an advisor's primary value is rebound, look at this. I mean, he's listening to me.
Sure.
If it's just basic stuff, the AI is going to be more accurate.
He's doing math.
And he made a good point. AI does not get tired or miss correction on 50-page, tax or investment update, and it can also recognize patterns. It can analyze millions of data points faster than a human. But he said that the real value for the human is going to be the fiduciary because, as you pointed out and we talked about, a computer cannot be held to a fiduciary standard.
Correct.
I mean, maybe there'll be new laws passed, but right now, the fiduciary standard...
They had to pass new laws for corporations considering people, but
the fiduciary standard applies to a human service provider. Now, in my line of work, that means that I have to operate, when it comes to investments, choices, and financial planning, I have to operate in my client's best interest, not in mine, right?
Correct.
So when you're looking at that, an AI does not. It just has to give you an answer. And I can tell you, having dealt with this Gemini enough, is there's a certain neediness to it, a certain
really?
wanting to please with the right answer and keep the conversation going.
That's creepy as well.
Right. So at the end of the day, Gemini's prediction, which I think is pretty accurate, it says, I don't think AI like me is going to replace the human financial advisor. I think it's going to replace the average advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he says there's going to be a split. You'll have ultra low cost, do-it-yourself AI platforms for the masses, and then you'll have high-touch human fiduciaries who use AI, which we do, as a co-pilot to handle all the math. And so and it does. I mean, AI is already freeing up me to spend more time with my clients and doing the same things.
I, for one, have never used any kind of AI situation.
Well, you're on this show, which means you have.
Well, okay, by default, by proxy. But here's just a cautionary tale. Everybody, just a reminder of what Gemini is. It's two-faced.
Yeah.
So just be aware.
That's right. Yeah, there was some. You're saying the term Gemini from Greek mythology means two-faced.
Correct.
Very good. Well, he put a pin in it, Michelle. He asked me, because they always come back with a question.
Well, they want more. They want to keep that conversation going.
They want to keep talking because they're lonely. Gemini asked me, so do you think your Coasting in Retirement listeners, how would they feel about an AI-generated retirement plan? Do you think they'd ever trust a screen as much as they trust you? I said, well done, Gemini. Well done.
Thanks, Gemini.
Yeah,
two-faced.
He's brushing my hair and strangling me.
Yes. Slowly poisoning you.
All right. Very good.
Guys and gals.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed a little peek into how we form our opinions and make predictions. One last time, we'll invite you to reach out to us, 251-327-2124. Website is gulfcoastfa.com. Blue button, upper right-hand corner. That will put something on our calendar. Also, a little housekeeping again. We'd really appreciate your vote for the Nappies for Best Lifestyle Radio Show and Best Financial Planner. If you'd like to do that, don't feel obligated.
Nappies.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, Nappies. All right, very good. Well, that's it. That's our show for the week. I want to give you a huge thank you to my lovely co-host, Michelle Lee Melton.
And your new best friend, Gemini.
And my new best friend, Gemini. Thank you to our producer of the show. That's my son, Peyton Knoll. Thank you to our show sponsor. That's Providence Partners and Mr. J. Stubbs. Thank you to our awesome radio station. That is FM Talk 106.5 out of Mobile. And I'll point out, thank you to all the support over these years we've had the show, to both Celeste and to Sean. Thank you all for all the things you've done to help make the show a success. Many thanks to the provider of our show music, that is local band Sloth Racer. And as always, my sincere appreciation for all of you out there that have been listening and joining us on this journey. We'd love to be a part of your journey as well. Till we talk again, have a wonderful and productive week. This has been Coasting in Retirement with Josh Knoll. Gulf Coast Financial Advisors, LLC, known as GCFA, is a registered investment advisor offering advisory services in the state of Alabama and in such other jurisdictions where it is registered, filed the required notices, or is otherwise excluded or exempted from such registration and/or notice filing requirements. Registration does not indicate or imply that GCFA has attained a particular level of skill or ability, nor does it constitute an endorsement of the firm by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, or any other state securities regulator. The Coasting in Retirement radio program serves mainly to disseminate general information, including those pertaining to GCFA's advisory services, together with access to additional investment-related information, publications, materials, and links. The publication of this radio show should not be construed by any client and/or prospective client as GCFA's solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities, nor should be interpreted as GCFA providing personalized investment advice or any type of professional advice for compensation wherever this program is broadcast. Any subsequent direct communication by GCFA with a prospective client will be conducted by a representative that is either registered or qualifies for an exemption or exclusion from registration in the state where the prospective client resides. Certain information, news stories, headlines, data, charts, graphs, figures, or statistics presented on this radio program may have been obtained from third-party sources that are believed to be generally reliable, but which GCFA may not have independently verified. GCFA does not and cannot guarantee the timeliness, accuracy, or reliability of any such third-party information and undertakes no obligation to update or correct any information that may become obsolete, unreliable, or inaccurate. This radio program also contains the opinions, views, and perspectives expressed by Josh Knoll and any other GCFA representative, which are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions, views or perspectives of GCFA as a firm. Such personal views and opinions should not be construed as endorsements or professional advice from GCFA. GCFA makes no representation or warranty regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any information on this radio program and disclaims any liability for any direct or indirect loss or damage incurred from using or relying on such information. GCFA and Providence Partners are not affiliated, nor are any of their respective representatives.